A Joker went down a few nights ago via Roman Dolidze, and another Joker is going down here as Jay Perrin is taking on Raul Rosas Jr. And you see the text, you hear the sizzle. It's another absolute meatlock, and we're riding a nice meatlock streak meet. You see us absolutely chilling in the green. Got that net 1K, which definitely is a sweet milestone, and we anticipate more stonks in this one as Raul Rosas Jr., the youngest fighter on the UFC roster, the first to ever sign a contract at the age of 17, is finally making his long-awaited debut as he takes on Jay Perrin, who is a guy who is 10-5 overall. He's 0-2 in the UFC, and he wasn't really very competitive in either contest, right? And admittedly, that first one was to Mario Bautista, who is a guy who trains with Sugar Sean. They've been training together for about 10 years and seemingly gets better every single fight. So not the worst loss for sure, but he lost to Arichi Lang after that, and that fight was not very competitive. Jay Perrin got absolutely smoked, and Raul Rosas Jr., although he's only now 18 years old, this is a guy who has been competing against adults his entire life. He is absolutely just one of the most exciting prospects I think we've seen in a while. What he did to Mando Gutierrez on that Contender Series was simply impressive because Mando is a guy who had a decent amount of experience. He was a guy in his mid-20s who had developed some adult strength, and as a teenager, Raul Rosas Jr. just made light work, and we were particularly impressed with his scrambling ability and the cleverness of which he was able to execute different ground strikes and submission attempts. And I think it's not unreasonable to think that Jay Perrin is going to be on the wrong end of a Rosas Jr. submission in this meatlock. So what are your thoughts on this meatlock? What's your overall take on Raul Rosas Jr., and how do you anticipate him getting this one done over Jay Perrin?
Yeah, this is an absolute lock, boys. El Nino Problemo, he's going to absolutely demolish. He's 18 now. He is on the trend to peak, even though he's absolute savage already. I just can't imagine how good this guy's going to be in 10 years at 28. 33, like, oh my gosh, this kid is going to be a problem. He is already a problem, and the joke is on this Joker because he's getting submitted first or second round. I think very early. I think it's gonna be dominate. Man, it's gonna be very brutal. When you're pushing 30 and you get absolutely mauled by an 18-year-old, that'll make you want to just like maybe it's time to hang him up. Maybe I'm too old for this sport because that's just crazy that this kid is in the UFC at such a young age and he's so talented. If you guys saw him fight at the Contender Series, you would know why. And I think everyone understands why this is our lock.
Yeah, 100% for sure. I mean, you described him as a problem, and that's why his nickname is that moniker indeed, right? El Nino Problemo. He's a guy who's going to bring Jay Perrin a lot of problems in this one. And do you think that wherever the fight goes, Rosas Jr. will have the advantage? I mean, I got to imagine he's going to have the decided advantage on the ground where he has just the slick scrambling abilities and just really nice top pressure. He's somehow a lot stronger than what he appears and a lot stronger than his age suggests. Do you anticipate this fight playing out mostly on the ground and perhaps a submission is likely for Rosas Jr., or does he even impress on the feet and perhaps have an advantage against Jay Perrin there as well?
Honestly, I could see a knockout, I could see a ground and pound, and I could see a submission. I think he's just going to dominate wherever it goes. But I imagine this kid's bread and butter shoots a double leg. There's no stopping it. You know it's coming, and there's no stopping it. He's given me. We'll see after this fight, but he's given me a little bit of early John Jones vibe, where you or even a Hamzat, where like you know it's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like when you have a fighter with that capability, it's the scariest thing ever because it doesn't matter how good you are. You just know you can't stop it. That's how good and like freakishly talented I think this kid could be, and that's how I see this fight going.
Yeah, and the fact that he's only 18 too, it's just like absolutely mind blowing. Like you're watching this kid, and it just doesn't seem like he's that young with how he's performing and the slickness of which he executes much of his game plan. And obviously, it's a lock for a reason. Should get us that 66th meat lock, keep this beautiful streak going, and we'll be going pretty decent. It's minus 240. We're throwing down 480. It's going to net an easy 200, keep us 1.2 in the green. And again, we're hitting that century mark here soon, meat. So Goal is to get that 70% mark. Got to rifle off 5 more straight, and we think El Nino Problemo is the one to kickstart the first of 5. Any last thoughts on this, Meatlock?
No, great fight, fun fight. Throw in the comments. Are you locking it with the meaties, or do you have a different reason why you wouldn't pick this meat lock? Let us know in the comments below.